What is up in South Africa? Many of you may wonder what is really going on in South Africa, because with social media everybody gets the chance to share their opinion, and then there is the media with their own agenda as well. So you may wonder, what is it like in South Africa? Does everyone hate everyone else of different race? Do people walk around with firearms to protect themselves? And is everything standing still while people cry about the chaos? To put you at ease, the answers to these questions are no. We don't all hate each other, as some politicians like to incite and the media likes to portray. And no, we don't all walk around with firearms. And no, there's definitely not something shocking enough to make this country stand still, because South Africans have seen a lot of things in this country. So the kids still go to school and play with their friends. You still have to take an alternative route to work when there is a violent protest every other day. And on a Sunday, you still go to church and have a braai. There are many South Africans that choose to not pay attention to the news and the politics because there is something more ridiculous every day. They choose to just go on with their lives. They don't live in fear and they are not angered by the absurd happenings. On the other hand, there are more and more South Africans that become aware of the down spiral of the country. The positive of this is that there is an increase in the founding of organizations that protect and further minorities. But before I elaborate too much, the aim of this video is to give you a quick overview of what is going on in my beloved country that is so often in the news for all the wrong reasons. The first thought you might have is why a girl like me, a boeremeissie, is still in this country. Well, I can answer that question with sharing the fact that my forefathers came to South Africa as early as 1652, and for so many generations we have built and loved this land with all we have got. We have also fought for our homeland, and we are still fighting for it. Now what are we fighting? We are fighting a million small and various huge inequities and attacks on our culture and us Afrikaner individuals, to mention but a few of these small things. Skin color is white. You have to work 5 times harder to get a position in a sports team because there is a quota system that ensures that a certain percentage of players must be of color. It is sad that some of our best rugby players go play abroad because their skin is too white to play for the Springboks. But you grow up with this discrimination because quota systems ought to be implemented on every level of sport. I am also very worried about the financing of my studies this year, because every bursary I apply for clearly states that white people only have a 5% chance of getting the bursary. The other bursaries blatantly say that it is for black students only. My dad has worked very hard to pay for me and my siblings to get a degree, but I am responsible for the financing of my postgraduate degree. Therefore, I have worked very hard to get my degree with distinction, but skin color counts more than marks do in South Africa. If you apply for a job, you are still not free from discrimination, for you have to be last in line when people are appointed with the BEE, Black Economic Empowering System. This causes thousands of qualified professionals to immigrate, and South Africa loses more and more experts in various fields. Every now and then you hear about a statue being vandalized and burned. This is an attack to destroy the Afrikaner's significant mark in South African history. If it is a white person, the statue must simply fall. Riots aren't unusual anymore, for it happens on a daily basis. If you are unhappy with something, then it supposedly gives you the right to burn and break down. These riots are very violent, and innocent people are impaired by it. To mention one example, if a community is unhappy about the school facilities, they burn down the whole school. Don't try to understand the logic. All of this certainly doesn't sound like small things, but once you hear the big things, you will understand. So, Afrikaners are victimized in South Africa. There is ridiculous outrages about white on black racism where someone says something insulting to a black person, but our voice is not heard when there is black on white racism, which goes so far as people saying and singing that all whites in South Africa must be killed. There is forced transformation at the universities that leads to the exclusion of education in our home language, Afrikaans. The government also wants to expropriate white-owned land without compensation. The thing that upsets me most is the way our farmers are being victimized. Except for the expropriation of land, the regular arson, theft and slaughtering of livestock, our farmers are being attacked and brutally murdered. In 2018, a huge amount of farm attacks took place, and the brutality of these attacks varies from young children being raped and drowned in boiling water to a man being stabbed more than 100 times in front of his family. So, with all this going on in South Africa, it is justified for you to imagine that people of different race can't stand each other. But this is not how it is in South Africa. Me and most other Afrikaners were raised to work hard for what we want and to respect everyone. So, this might surprise you, but colored and black kids were also invited to my birthday parties as a little kid, and I still have friends of different race. People of all different skin colors will still greet each other friendly in the supermarket or wherever. And even farmers still reach out to the other communities by, for example, donating food to the schools. So no, we don't all hate each other. We are also certainly not all the same. And therefore, freedom of association is crucial in our country. But unfortunately, forced integration causes so much segregation in South Africa at the moment. I love this place more than I can describe to you. I love my culture and my language. So many laws are trying to take it away from me, but I will not allow it, because for too many generations, my people have fought for it. Through all of this, we have to hold on to God. Just take a moment and think of Philippians 4 verse 6 that says, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, give your requests to God."